Speaker's Corner aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey, hosted by Kit Cassingham.
We're back in choral. Yay. This is a different Speaker's Corner. We've never had a shootout before, but we're going to have one tonight. We've got sound effects and everything, Chris. See how much better this is? So, the Google girl, also known as Chris, is aiming to take the iPhone user, a longtime Mac user herself, to a better place in this shootout. So, we have in this corner Google girl, and in this corner Mac girl, Apple girl, excuse me.
Talking iPhone. That's right.
And, oh yeah, I guess that's their extensions. So, let's put your shields up and let's go.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I am Chris Guld, also part of Geeks on Tour, and along with my husband Jim, Mr. Geek, Mrs. Geek, and we are Google, but I have an iPhone. We're talking iPhone tonight. It's all iPhone. But did you know that on iPhone, for your photos, you do have a choice? You can use Google Photos even on an iPhone. So that's what we're going to be showing you tonight. Do you want to say a couple words about who you are?
A woman with her microphone that just came on. Alicia, I'm a teacher. When I was in college, I got a Mac Classic on my desk. I've been hooked on Apple ever since. I have taken a foray there, but I will say I am not a professional. I am an average everyday user, so I might be seeking some audience input from time to time as I take aim at Google Photos.
Oh, well, that's right. I should say I am a designated Google product expert for Google Photos, and I wrote a book called Learn Google Photos. How many of you use your iPhone to take photos?
What's an iPhone?
We use an iPhone to take photos. Okay, how many of you use an Android to take photos? Ooh, good, there's a few. How many use both? I think a lot of people have an Android phone, but have an iPad, an Apple tablet. So there's lots of things you can do with both of them. I have both because I teach both, but my point is I like using the Google apps because they work on both. So that's what we're talking about tonight. And Alicia,
Yes.
I would like you to take a photo of me.
Oh, nothing would give me more pleasure, especially because it's on an iPhone 13. So mine's a little archaic, but I will do the best I can. Smile, say cheese. Oh, wonderful. Let me get a portrait. Ah, yes, portrait's my favorite in landscape. Uh-oh, yeah, you know where I'm going.
All right, now wait, no, don't go yet.
Okay.
And I always like to take a selfie of the speakers with the audience in the background. So I'm going to take a selfie with my iPhone. This is an iPhone. Okay, just making sure that's clear. And I take a selfie, and I do it by setting a timer for 5 seconds so that it gives me a chance to, I can just tap. Thank you. Yes. I can tap the shutter button and we have a 5, 4, oh, I didn't set it. All right, I gotta set the timer for 5 seconds. I didn't know you could do that. And there we go. Now, there's 5. There's 10 seconds too. There's 3, 5, and 10. I find that 5 is usually good enough. So I now tap the shutter button and it counts down 3, 2, 1. Okay, but you know something? That looked really cloudy. You could probably see that. I don't think they could see that. The one photo taking tip we're going to give you tonight. Number 1 photo taking tip: clean the lens. Now this lens might be obvious, but when you're taking a selfie, it's the lens that it's right on the screen, and it always has fingerprints on it. So I'm going to try that again, and just it's still on a timer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and you'll see those in a minute, not right away. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have, and I want to take one photo of Jim. Now I'm going to take a photo of Jim with my Samsung Android phone. And I'm going to ask him to hold little Android guy so that when we see the photo, we'll remember that it was taken taken with an Android phone. Okay.
How's my mustache? Still white.
And now, next slide.
More than one?
Yeah. So we took a show of hands for iPhone, lots of iPhone photographers in here, and a few Android. But we're not talking about the camera tonight. We're not talking about which one takes better photos. That might have to be another shootout. We're talking about what now? You've taken the photos. Do you ever look at them again? What do you do with them? Next slide. And there's a bit of terminology. We're going to be saying the word cloud a lot. Cloud just means it's not on your device. It's out there somewhere in the cloud. The word cloud is generic. Think of it like we talk about the beach. There are lots of specific beaches, but we say the beach. The cloud, same thing. There's lots of specific clouds. And it helps with the terms upload and download. You know, if something is on your device and you want it in the cloud, you upload it. If it's in the cloud, you want it on your device, you download it. Next slide. So Apple's cloud is iCloud. The app that we're talking about is that flowery looking icon, and I call it Apple Photos. It used to be iPhoto, but iPhoto is gone. It's just photos, but it's Apple Photos. So that's the app. When you take a photo with your iPhone and you're using Apple Photos and iCloud, it is going up. It's going from your phone up to Apple iCloud. There's all sorts of other things in your Apple iCloud, but photos is one thing that goes there. When you take a photo and you have Google Photos installed, it goes up to the Google Cloud. I have them both, so when I take a photo with my iPhone, that photo is going up to 2 different clouds, Apple iCloud and Google's cloud, which happens to be called Google One. Next. So Apple and Google have very different philosophies about how they use the cloud. Apple says, well, everybody who has an Apple has an iPhone, has an iPad, and has a Mac. And Apple's iCloud purpose is just to keep all those in sync. You add a photo to one, it gets added to all. You delete a photo from one, it gets deleted from all. So iCloud is a synchronizing machine. It is not a backup. Google Photos, or Google, in contrast, one more key, I guess, is everything to the cloud for keeps. Because you can put photos from your iPhone, from your Android, from old CDs, from thumb drives, everything to the cloud. And then Google doesn't care what you do with the original. You can delete all the photos off the phone, but you still see them in your Google Photos because they're in the cloud. So very different philosophies. And next. So, why, pray tell, why would anybody want to use that silly Apple Photos rather than the good Google Photos?
Well,
Alicia?
Thank you for asking.
You don't hurt each other.
And truly, it is just a matter of preference and comfort, and I know you're going to reiterate this. Wherever you decide to live, just make sure you know the house you're living in. And I've spent more time on an iPhone than I have on an Android. I've spent more time in the iCloud than I have on Google Drive, even though work required Google Drive. So I just find the synchronization between my phone and my iPad and what I used to have as a MacBook Pro that I swore I would never have again after I retired was seamless. I really appreciated that everything was synced together, contained together, and I didn't have to worry about what to use next. And I also appreciate the fact that the iCloud, Jim, if I can steal the camera just for a little bit there. Thank you. I can also access the cloud through any web browser. So if I'm on someone's Android and I want to do something with a photo or pass it over, I can just log into iCloud.com. Right here are my photos. And after about 20 minutes and a lot of bandwidth, there's Chris. It's still accessible even through an internet browser. So I wasn't isolated just to the Apple Sphere by iCloud. I can also just use a browser. I'm in a Chrome browser right now. That's my preferred browser there, but I'm using the Apple iCloud. Thank you, Jim. You can take the slides back. I think I covered everything, yeah. Oh, one thing I realized too was bandwidth. What I like about iCloud, I can load all my photos up there and have it maximize the storage on my device, so that way I just get little thumbnails that I can download when I'm on a land-based Wi-Fi, and I don't have to do it and keep it all here. That was everything I want to say. So,
Yeah,
Chris.
right. Sit down. Sit down. Let me
Yes,
show you
ma'am.
how it really should be done. Oh, yeah. Well, that was probably a good thing. There we go. And so, why should you use Google Photos even on an iPhone? Yeah, it works it's cross-platform. I mean, if you are an Apple devotee and you never, ever, ever will get an Android, then okay. You know, iCloud, Apple Photos is the way to go. But if there's going to be any Android or Windows computer in your sphere, then Google Photos is the way to go. The other thing is that the cloud is the primary storage, and once it's in the cloud, you can delete from the phone. But be aware, if you delete from the phone, iPhone, what's going to happen to your iPad or your Mac copies? They'll be deleted. Right, so people delete from using Google Photos thinking that it's not touching their Apple Photos. It is. If it deletes from the device, it's gone from the Apple world. So that's just something to bear in mind. So what am I talking about? Need the Ziggy. This is my iPhone, but I have both. I think that light is a bit too much. I have both the Google Photos and the Apple Photos. You know, so the Apple Photos comes with iPhone. You have to install the Google Photos. And if you're going to use Google Photos, then you just start ignoring the Apple Photos. So if I open my Apple Photos, oh, and I always forget, Apple Photos, the most recent is at the bottom of your grid. Google Photos, it's at the top. So in my Apple Photos, I see the selfie that I took. There's the one with the dirty lens, and it also wasn't pointed very well. And then I cleaned the lens. But where's the picture of Jim? It wasn't taken with Apple, so it can't be seen in Apple Photos. But it can be seen on my iPhone. I just have to open Google Photos.
Well, Chris,
Yeah.
if I may, there's one thing that led me not to decide on Google Photos, because I used it. My family was all about sharing, and most of them were on Android, so I used Google Photos for our family memories. But then I'm this thing about full access and privacy, and I've read through the terms and conditions. And when I go into Google Photos, it says allow full access. I don't want to give you full access. I want to choose the pictures that I upload. But one thing I didn't know is that if I just go down here to my collections, I can access, oh, you see that young girl next to her husband there. I can access my photos from way back when I did use Google Cloud, Google One, before I came to my senses. So just know, it does work, but...
Very good, yes, yes. I mean, Google Photos' job is to back up all your photos from your phone. How can it do that if you don't give it access? So, but if you don't want to, then don't. If you're just using it for past photos, okay, I get it. All right. So now, you know what to do with the phone when something isn't working the way you think it should be working? Force quit. Force quit. So I'm saying I'm not seeing what I think I should be seeing on my Apple photos. So let me swipe up to the middle and swipe it off, and then go back and open it again. Still not there. Jeez.
It's over here.
Are you on your iPhone?
Yeah, I'm on my iPhone.
Go to your
that's the
Samsung.
problem.
Go to
I
your-
did. It has been uploaded from the Samsung to the cloud, and it is not showing up on my.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yay!
You know, we get so used to instant gratification takes too long. So I'm on my iPhone, but I can now see the photo of Jim that was taken with my Samsung. Why? Because it's looking at the Google Cloud. I mean Google Photos. Okay. So that is the main reason to use Google. But I do think there are others which we will show you a few of. Back to the slides. So right, here's kind of what Alicia was saying. I do have a warning. So I find that people hear me talking about Google Photos and they just pull out their phone, they install Google Photos, and they say, okay. Well, it will start uploading all your photos, and voila, your Google account is now full and your Gmail won't work. So don't do it unless you are planning to use Google Photos and are willing to pay for storage. Okay, next. Yeah. We're going to cover 5 points. And we're already late. We're going to cover 5 points. We're only going to show you a tiny bit of what either of these can do. And we will ask you to vote after each one. So we're going to talk about storage costs, organizing, sharing, editing, and making creations if we get there. We'll see. And next. So storage. How much does storage cost, Felicia, on Apple?
On Apple,
On Apple.
right off the bat, just using my phone regularly, it was 99. Well, you get 5 gigs for free, but when you take photos, high HD photos, that's not much. So it was 99 cents a month for a long, long time. I didn't want to go up to $2.99. I offloaded a bunch to external drives, and I came on this exciting voyage. So now I am, instead of paying $2.99 for 200 gigs, I'm up to the 99 per month for 2 terabytes to save all of our memories from this wonderful adventure.
$9.99.
$9.99. Yeah,
Did I
$10.
say 99.99?
No. $10 a month. $10 a month. You might be paying $99 for a year,
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a discount if you pay annually.
Thank you.
But I want you to notice what size gets stored in your
Yes.
storage, Alicia.
When they're storing, I feel like I need to pull out my guns here. When they're stored in their original size. So if I take a high definition photo, it's going to be stored on the cloud in HD. If I take a video, it's going to be uploaded there, compressed, uploaded, and then stored in the cloud in its full and original size. I can optimize my phone so that all that's left here are the thumbnails, and then I download it when I go to the older ones. But in the cloud, which is why I used it up so quickly on this trip, it's a full size.
Cloud storage is going to get a lot fuller, and especially when you only start with 5 gigabytes. So if you just look at the dollar amounts, they're exactly the same, right? Except for Google doesn't have a 50 gigabyte plan. It goes to 100, 200, and 2 terabytes, and the dollars are exactly the same. But the starting point is 3 times higher. 15 gigabytes of free for Google and only 5 for Apple. And I highly recommend that you use the storage saver size, which takes about half the size. So, in my opinion, the 5 gigabytes for Apple is compared to about 30 for equivalent for the Google.
So you're losing quality?
It is a compression.
Repeat the question.
Okay, do you lose any quality? Not that you can see visually, no. You know, and the number of pixels, you know, maybe.
But what if you, so if you store it in Storage Saver and it's compressed, and you later want to use that photo, is it a lesser quality?
I'll repeat. So she says, what if you have uploaded it in Storage Saver and you later want to what? Print a 14 by 20 and you want the original to do that, can you? No. So I also, how many backups of a photo should you have? I mean, at least 2. I use Amazon Photos as well, and that goes full original size. So, we can't. Can you make a note? We will have questions at the end. Yeah. Next slide. So we need to take a vote. How many people think that the storage and cost winner is Apple Photos?
Oh, did I fail to mention that there's a family plan in the Apple storage and I share those 2 terabytes with my husband?
So is there in the Google storage. You can share with 5. Yeah, so.
Twice as fast.
All right, how many think that Google Photos wins this round? Woo-hoo!
Oh, congratulations.
Okay, next topic is organizing. So the point is, we take so many thousands of pictures with our phones now, you can't spend the time to make folders and subfolders and do all this and tag everything. It does it for you. Both Google Photos and Apple Photos do all the organizing for you. So I want to show you that. The entire library is sorted by date taken. Because when you take a picture with your phone, it's stamped with the date it was taken, right? So it is automatically sorted that way. Then you can search by dates. You can search for people. You can search for locations. And a map view and Mom Hugging Odie. Let me show you these examples. So I'm still on my iPhone, but I'm going to use Google Photos. And the first thing to know is I have 117,000 photos. And it will show you that right here, I think. Yeah, right. 116,000, it's in tiny print. 116,301 photos are in my Google Cloud. And look how quickly I can go through. As soon as you start scrolling, see this little button on the right-hand side? I can grab that and boom, I'm down to January 1890, which is basically photo number 1. And I can scroll back up to today, just like that, through 116,000 photos, all in date order. Okay, then what was the next thing I was going to... Okay, well, you have to start scrolling. This little button over here doesn't appear until you start scrolling. And now I can just grab that little button and boom, all the way down. And how do I get a photo from 1890? Well, you can change the dates. So this was a snap from an old family album, and then I edited the date to show it was 1890. So quickly, anything by date. And then people. There's this button down here called collections. And there's a whole section for people. So when my mom passed and I wanted to have a memorial, I could find all the photos that I ever have of my mom just by tapping there. And there's hundreds, maybe thousands of photos of her. But I can choose me, and then I can say, I want to see pictures that has me and Jim in it. I just tap Jim's little face, and now I am only seeing pictures that have me and him in it, just like that. Places. I love the map feature. And Apple, you'll see it in Apple as well, but in the, where is it? Here. You get a map. I just tapped on the square that has the map, and at the top is a map. We're in the middle of the ocean, so it didn't look like we were anywhere. But everywhere you see a color, that's called a heat map. That means that I have photos in that place. So I can go to anywhere. You know, there was a campground in Chicago that I thought was so cool, and all I remember about it is that it was in the suburbs of Chicago. And so I can just look at the heat maps around Chicago until I find it. And yeah, there we go. Camping. And I can read the sign and see the name of the campground. If the only thing you know about a place, about a photo, is where you were when you took it, you can find it that way. Okay. Now you can also make albums. You know, if you want a grouping that is your personal grouping, you make an album, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
How is Apple Photos organized?
Oh my goodness. So succinctly, it's such a way to inspire memories, love, connection. Apple Photos has it all. So when you open it up, Jim, if I may, I'm going to forget what the order, but I'll come back to that. I can also start scrolling here in the photos. But look what it did right away. I don't have to grab a bar. I can just go to the year, and I remember that it was 2022 when I was in Lima, Peru, and then I can see the months, and it sorts by the days of when I was where. Oh, there I am with the Peruvian flag on top of the world, and it gives me all of that information as well as the location map of exactly where I was, just as you showed. And then I can pinch in, and it starts to show me other maps in the area if I click on this little icon that says show nearby photos. So then I can see my entire journey. And I know I did that quickly. Did it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, so the organization is all built into the app. And the thing that I love even more is finding that little X in the back button so I can get back to where I was without too much worry. So I can go to years, I can go to months, or I'm back in the all. It also just, let's go to 2025, where we are now. I'm going to go to the all. But down here, what I love, recent days, is that something else? And I can order these in whatever order that I want them to. I can look at specific trips, back when we were in Hawaii. I can even go to the different types of photos that I've taken, whether they were selfie. I was a little nervous. I have more selfies than I have photos. What does that tell you about me? But all of those things, but this is my favorite part, the memories. And I know Google does that too, doesn't it? But it creates it, and then I can go back and forth, whether I want it in a photo, slide array, or whether I want it in a memory. That's my nephew's wedding, and it just, I don't know. I get sentimental about the way that Apple organizes this for me. So Jim, what's on the screen there that I forgot to talk about?
Searching, and I forgot to talk about searching too.
Yes, this beautiful bar. But you did it, because you wanted to find all of the pictures of, say, Andy in 2024. So I could do Andy and Alicia. Oh, Andy, I should get a little icon for my honey there. For my husband there. Andy. Chris, how many times do we do this?
Tell me that.
Come on up,
Yes.
Miss Professional, help me through this. So I got the little icon for Andy in the search, and then I could type Andy and Alicia, and it brought up all the pictures of us together. And it can search by date, it can search by anything, even by AI using the microphone. Find all pictures of Mom in Espanol. Okay. What did I forget to do? Because it gave us the nice little icons just like they were there. And the areas I showed you in the map view, and I even pulled up one of my mom and Andy hugging each other, and I got a nice memory from that picture in the days past. But for some reason, it's not cooperating.
It's Apple.
No, you just type Andy
Here it
hugging
is.
Mom. I think he's hugging. I think.
H-U-G-G, I think you're right. Hugging. There it is, right
there.
before we came on the cruise. The big embrace. Andy making my mom giggle and blush before we left on the cruise. So,
And that was from March 2024.
March
you can see up at the top there.
yes,
yeah.
and that's where the dates are. And it even showed, as you said, how many photos I have in my photo collection up here. As soon as I go to it, I X that out. Only 22,000 because I pulled a lot down from the cloud and saved them onto hard drives in a safe place. So Apple comes through if you type in the right cues. Thank you, Jen.
All right, since I have to show you the more search on Google before we go to the next subject. Now, but when I was showing Jim and me, I didn't have to type anything in. I tapped on all the faces, and I just chose me and added him. So just FYI. But you can search then for anything. Eiffel Tower. And did I have to tag any pictures of the Eiffel Tower? No, because artificial intelligence knows what the Eiffel Tower looks like, and it can look through my 117,000 photos and show me the ones of the Eiffel Tower. And it gets them wrong. You know, that is not the Eiffel Tower, that is a lighthouse. But it seemed to think that that looks like the Eiffel Tower, but pictures of the Eiffel Tower are definitely in there. And then fun stuff like Mom hugging Odie. That was our dog. You know, so anything you can think of, just go ahead and try it. And none of this requires any work on your part. It's all done, well, except for the naming Odie. You know, it recognizes dogs and it puts similar dogs together in a group. It's up to you to say that's Odie, to type in the name that's Odie. And is that sweet or what? And that's from November 2000. And it pulled it up. I mean, it took a split second, I think, but okay. Next, oh, organize and search photos. Who thinks that Apple was the best at that? Okay. And Google? I think maybe we, no, that was Apple's favor?
That was Apple's favorite.
Okay.
Clearly.
Okay. I gotta say, I do like that year and month. I wish Google would implement that. Okay, so we're 1-on-1 so far. Next topic is sharing photos and making albums. So, if you're in the iPhone world and somebody says, oh, will you send me that picture? You do it with AirDrop, right? Everybody loves AirDrop. Yeah?
Or you put their phones together.
Or that's still AirDrop. You still have to say share with AirDrop, but it doesn't matter
But it's quicker.
if their AirDrop is open. You just bump phones, which is way cool. All I want to say is if you're using Google Photos on an iPhone, you still have AirDrop and that bump the photos. I make albums. I love my albums, and I make an album. So I want to show you real quick how you make an album. I'm making an album now that we're in this lifestyle for every segment. So I have an album for the Japan and Philippine Sea segment. Now I need to make one for the South Pacific segment, right? Which started today. So Google Photos. And step 1 is just to select the photo. So here's me diving yesterday. I'll select that photo. And here's Jim diving yesterday. I'll select that photo. And then you just tap the plus down at the bottom and say create an album. With those 2 photos, create an album, and I can say South Pacific. Now, every day that goes by, when I'll take a really good photo, I'll add it to that album. And then you can share that album just by getting a link. You tap the share button and get link. And you can put those links anywhere. So for example, our website, geeksontour.com is our website, and I am keeping these albums of the journey here on a special page called Cruising. So if you go to geeksontour.com, you'll see buttons right on the home page. One of them says Our Cruising Life. Tap on Our Cruising Life. And then there's all sorts of links. I mean, anything anybody would want to know about living on this cruise ship, we have on that page. But if you scroll down, you will also see links to all the photo albums. And I did already make the photo album for the South Pacific, so I just want to show you if you want to see it, or if you want to see there. I have 4 albums so far in this journey because we made the decision in December. I have a whole album on that. Then May through July, then August through October, and then November, and then starting today. Go ahead and click on that one, Jim. And if you click on that and you see a join, then you will get notifications when we add more pictures. And I start with a map of where we're going. And one thing that you can do with Google Photos albums is you can put these text blocks so it can be a complete story. All right, that's all we're going to say about albums. And I am going to stipulate that Apple has the same way of working with albums. They didn't used to, though, right? If you wanted to share an album.
Back in the, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There, okay. Back in the old days, you had to share it and they'd have to join the cloud and do everything now. But now you can send an open link, make it a public link, and anyone and everyone that wants to access it can get to it from your iCloud link. And the one thing that I love, I mean, it's true for any iPhone, but when you're in Apple and you go to share it, boom, you can share it on WhatsApp, you can share it on Facebook, you can share it across any of the apps that recognize the photo ability. So I would say yes. We can stipulate they do this.
I think we stipulate that the sharing,
very close.
I probably shouldn't, because sharing is one of the things that Google is really known for, but I haven't seen anything that it can do that Apple Photos can't do, so I'm going to let that one go. And what's our next topic? So scorekeeper, that's a draw. That's a draw. Editing photos.
Oh, yes.
Now this one, yes, I do love, and okay, so I have some photos pre-selected to edit here, and I put them in an album. All sorts of different reasons for making albums. So I put them in an album called Shootout. So, and right there. Anybody recognize? This was in Alaska. And let me see if I can turn my, there. This was in Alaska, and that's our ship, but it's so far away, and it's a little bit crooked. So I just tap edit, and crop, and this 0 point is how you straighten. Boy, it pisses me off when people post crooked pictures, because it is so easy to fix. Okay, so I straightened it, and I want to crop to get closer to the ship, and I want to just make it look look better, I just tap on suggestions and this one button for dynamic. And that has made it greener and clearer, and I save. And that's it. Now, some people will say, oh, but I don't like editing on that little screen. Well, okay. iPad is a bigger screen, or you can do it on the computer too, but I'm just not going to do that. So, iPad, but what app am I going to use? Google Photos, right. I'm not going to use the Apple Photos that came with the iPad. I'm going to use Google Photos that I have installed on the iPad. I'm going to go look at that same album, which is Shootout. And you see that that picture has already been saved, right? I'm on a different device and did the editing, but there it is. Now, what's wrong with this picture? These cameras are really good in low light, but you have to hold it very still. This is blurry. Edit, tools, unblur. And if you want to see the original, you touch and hold, and yeah, so can you see it's blurry there and it's sharper there. It's blurry there and it's sharper there. Pretty cool. Done and save. And next picture example is this one. This is the beautiful banyan tree that was in the park right next to us in Cannes. But look how dark it is. You can't see it at all. Edit. One tap on dynamic. Boom. And I could even go more under adjustments and shadows and just put more light in the shadows. There. That's better. There's the original. There's the edited one. And save. Okay. Oh, one more. This was on the streets of Cartagena, and Jim gets stopped all the time to say, nice mustache. So this kid was doing that, was saying, nice mustache. I love the picture, but I don't like him in the middle there. You edit, and this thing called Magic Editor, and I just rub over it. And notice I didn't have to be exact, but it got him exact and erased. And it has to think about it a minute here, but there.
Wow.
All right. Beat that.
You know, Chris, we talked about that because I was impressed and I said, why can't I do that? I am an Apple girl. I am sure Apple can do it. Well, of course I can do it if I have a 15 plus. I am sampling on a 13, so my phone can't do that magic erase until I go home to upgrade. But I hold
on the iPhone, it's called cleanup.
Cleanup.
It's called cleanup. So yes, if you have a 15 or higher, you have a cleanup tool.
So, you know, I had similar pictures. When we were in Palau and sitting at the resort there, I just loved watching the sunset behind our home. And so I took a picture, and I thought it was nice, but like Chris, it wasn't close enough. So all I did, I zoomed in, I cropped, and then I played a little bit with the colors because I like purple more than I do orange. It's a matter of preference, but that's what I did there. And then similarly, when I was Green Island. No, I wasn't parasailing, but the parasailer was there, and I just cleaned it up a little bit by brightening it, and you know, I got a little raindrop on it. But same thing that I can do in Google Photos, I can do there. But there's one thing I really, really wonder about, and I'm gonna have to use my phone to show that, because can you take pictures that move? You talked about having to hold your camera for a long, long time. Do you remember that, Chris? Can you take live action photos that just like do it for a snapshot?
Yeah,
you
live.
can do that on your phone.
Live photos. That's what you're talking about, live photos?
Yes, live photos. What can you do with those after you edit them? What do you do with yours, Aliona? Do you make them loop, bounce, or do fun things like that?
I don't really know. I just sometimes leave them be.
You leave them be? Well, I am going to embarrass my friends here and put up a live photo. If I hold it down, you'll see we just moved a little bit. You know, Joe, he was having a drink, he threw his head back. And I just wanted to bounce back and forth between his head moving. So now, after he thinks about it,
Oh, like a
he's
carrot.
going on and on.
So it's
And on and on. And on and on. And it'll save it like that. Or I can have it loop. So it fades out and fades in, and that small head movement. It can capture greater movements, people walking, doing things. But this is just right in the app itself that does that. Long exposure, that was the old way to get rid of people. Doesn't work as well as cleanup. And I can also, the one thing that I appreciate about this is when it's in live mode, sometimes it's not exactly the best part of the picture. So I can go into the edit mode. Do you see over here where it says live? If I click on live, it should give me a little frame, and I can slide across here till I get to the part where I want, where he's almost hitting his head against Gary. Those beers were good. And I can make that the key photo that stands out. So instead of the other photo in my album or as the main photo, I've been able to do that. So that's the one thing I like and appreciate about the editing here. But as you see, editing the photos is the same as it is in year one. All I do
Hardly.
Hardly?
Hardly.
Oh my goodness. Because I saw you click all of those little things just to make a little bit of a difference. Here, I click to edit. I can do an auto adjust if I want to. But if I'm not satisfied with that, I have all of these other tweaks and balances that I can play with until I get just the photo that I want. A little bit brighter, no, a little bit darker, and a lot more color to really make it pop. And when I want to go back and forth, similarly, I tap. And that's in the iPhoto app itself. I don't have to download Google Cloud or Google Photos. I can just do it right there after I take the picture. And then when I'm ready to share it, look at all the options I have. Plus, it gives me more devices more apps I can share it with, and I did not even leave the app to do that. Apple. And then, so I think we're going to have to decide which one is better at editing photos. Oh, I can do it on my iPad too, but this is where Chris gets really happy. I can do it on the computer, but I can't do it in iCloud. Even though I can access iCloud from any device, I can't make edits to my photos when I'm on iCloud. But when you have a tablet like this, why would you wanna?
So just to clarify that point, because I think it's a good one for my side. If you want to use a computer to edit Apple Photos, you have to have a Mac. Whereas Google Photos works on the web on any device. So that was editing. Next slide. So editing. Which one wins editing? Apple Photos?
Bounce.
Google Photos.
Oh.
AI editing and removing stuff. And we've only showed you the tiniest tip of the iceberg of what it can do. Okay. So we getting score. And there is how we okay. Yeah, I said we probably wouldn't get to creations. But let me just say, you can make collages right in Google Photos, and you can't in Apple Photos. You can do the bounce and loop, and you can make movies. Oh, I'm sorry. I am going to show you this because it's all I had to do was tap create, and Captain Val was here earlier. I tapped create and
Put it on the screen so you can see.
oh, sorry.
Do penny.
Right. Create and then highlight video and next, and I can just search for a person, and since I've done this before, Captain Val is right there, and just make it. I can say just find Captain Val's photos in my Google Photos and make a movie. It takes a minute to render, so I already have it made, and I just thought it was such a cute. Turn the volume up. Okay, and what did I do to make that? I said, make me a movie of Captain Val. That's it. That's all I had to do that. So, next slide. I don't think, so a scorekeeper.
We have Apple with 1 and Google with 2. And the other one was a tie.
And one with a tie. All right.
You know, if I had a 15, it would have been a different contest.
They do keep leapfrogging each other, you know, Apple and Google Photos all the time. So things that are in Apple's favor, I think, will be coming to Google and vice versa. So the bottom line, guys, I think you have seen, both of them are very good. They do pretty much the same thing. Pick one, and learn it. It does so much more than you're doing, and it doesn't have to take a lot of work. A lot of it is super, super simple. We're ready for questions.
Did you remember Kelly?
There's a hand all the way in the back there.
I'll let her start here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you were at a disadvantage because you've got an older phone, Alicia. One thing that Apple has, and I'll let you look at that. Tell me what you think of that. That's called spatial. And you don't have spatial, as far as I know, anyway, doing that through Google Photos. And it's the capability of multiple lenses and live within the hardware. That's a hardware advantage, granted, but it is a significant difference. And to be able, I cleaned that up. There were actually 2 Coke bottles. It's a table setting of a burger and some fries. And when you look at it, you can actually give a 3-dimensional view to it. I don't know if you want to take it up to Chris and let him see that. Move it around,
Yeah.
and you'll see. And I know you don't have that capability, Alicia, in yours, but move that around a little bit. You'll see how it has a 3. It might not be picking it up on that on the camera, but it has a 3-dimensional look, and it's really handy. Facebook supports that too, by the way, if you haven't used it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I do think,
Kinda
even
happens
though
automatically
it's a
on
hardware
Facebook.
advantage over, but I don't think there's any way to do that in Google. Just saying, for editing.
Facebook will process it.
Right. Okay, but Google does have something called cinematic, which you just pick. I'm going to pick a fish and see what it does with that. Oh, I probably should have done it on my phone. I've never done it on the iPad before, so it had to download something. Okay, go ahead for the next question.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
We've got 5
Yeah,
minutes.
so it's not the 3D spatial, but it does.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wasn't there a question back there? And then there's one over here.
You said about Google just pressing a button and making a movie or a collection. I don't know the rhyme or reason, but I put on my iPhone and I use iCloud, and I get, look what you were doing last year, and it'll make a whole collection. And it would just brighten up my day seeing, except when my ex-husband's there. But it would just brighten my day that, oh yeah, I was doing that a year ago where you were. Or collections that'll find a common thread among certain photos and put that together.
Hold the mic to your mouth so we can hear you.
Oh, I'm done. Did you hear all that? Or should we-
Okay. Well, what she said is she really likes the Apple Photos memories that it presents for you. Google does that too, but you can specify, it hasn't given me one of Captain Val automatically, but
And-
I could do it.
To be fair, I can do that in Apple too. Like when I name and frame people, it'll create those movies for me. Now I can't choose the pictures, but I can isolate it to a summary or a big.
Oh,
big
okay.
movie. Are we at the next
I
question?
didn't know that.
And then I'm also going to say the more robust iMovie app is a free installation that comes with the phone that just gives you a lot of robust movie features. I'm sorry. Who's
Sure.
the next question?
back here.
On Google Photos storage, I think in the past there was, if you use that storage saver, wasn't it free?
Yes.
And I think you, on your screen, you had something about it on the bottom, but you clicked through so fast I couldn't read it.
I did click through that fast, yes. I have, 50,000 of my pictures were added to Google Photos between 2015 and 2001. Those are completely free. They do not take up any storage space. Google ended that free storage plan in June of 2021. So it had to be uploaded before then.
I don't think I'm alone in this, but I use my camera for things other than landscape photos. I use it for record keeping. So, during the year I take pictures of something that goes into a file called tax deductions, but it's still in photos.
Mm-hmm.
And I address this to both of you. When I download that data from a
Hold
year,
it to your mouth so we can hear you.
when I download that data by year from the cloud, does it keep the organization so that I don't have to go through 603,000 photos to find my tax deductions? Does it keep the organization, or do I lose it?
You lose it.
On both? On both?
Yeah. Yeah. Albums. Well, you would have if you download an album, then they're together. But if you say, "Hey Google, download all my photos," it just downloads all your photos. Well, it depends on how you do it, and I'm not sure. It's not easy. Put it that way.
Chris,
That's Google. Yeah.
Chris, here's our last question.
Okay.
Okay, so I have the Apple phone and I have the Apple storage that I pay for on my Apple phone for my pictures, and I've also downloaded Google.
Sorry. Wait a minute. It's this one.
I thought it was mine.
Google's listening.
Okay, so I have an Apple phone,
Okay.
and I have my Apple storage that I pay
Uh-huh.
to keep it, but I also have Google Photos on my Apple phone,
Uh-huh.
and I see that I can use that as well. Should I have storage for both of these? Could I pay for both of them? Will that help so I can go back and forth, or do I have to choose one or the other?
I use both, but you just have to be aware of a couple of things. Like if you delete using Google Photos, it deletes from the phone, and it will then be deleted from the Apple. That's probably the biggest thing. They handle deletions differently. But other than that, yeah, you just need to know that you're using storage on both of them, and you would need to pay for storage on both of them if you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think it's great. But when I go look at my Apple Photos, I don't see the pictures that were taken with my Android phone. So.
And that was the start of the shootout. I asked Chris, why should I switch? And she said, if you love what you're using, you don't have to. But wouldn't it be fun if? And here we are. Thank you so much, Chris.
Okay. And thank you, Kit. I love
What a fun evening.
I have lots more topics I want to talk about.
Well, and I think you two could go on a little longer on
Oh,
this
God.
topic, so maybe we should have a part 2 sometime.
3, 4,
So-
5.
All right, so 10 more. Is that what you said, John?
I said 3, 4.
I heard you say 10, yeah. All right, so yes, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming.